The year is 2002, and I haven't even been born yet. The people at PopCap Games decide that it's time for a new title. They ask for the help of George Fan of Flying Bear Entertainment to work on Insaniquarium, and while it isn't a massive hit, it was still received positively by those who played it. This inspires the developers to make Insaniquarium Deluxe 2 years later, which is where all this takes place. Insaniquarium Deluxe is often overlooked as a gem due to the fact that one of the games that succeeded it, Plants vs. Zombies, exploded into the mainstream audience and found plenty of success. Despite this, there's still a fairly active community of people that still enjoy playing the game and looking for strategies. This includes different speedruns. While there are several methods of speedrunning in Insaniquarium, I'm going to be focusing on singular level speedrunning and bonus adventure in this video. Initially, the only scores that were really recorded were scores for Tank 1-1, which were just screenshots from within the in-game Hall of Fame, with people getting various success. They were scores of a minute 15 seconds, a minute 10 seconds, a minute 5 seconds, 5 seconds. Wait, what? Turns out a player with the name SuperSlow on speedrun.com found a new strategy. On November 12, 2017, SuperSlow got the record on Tank 1-1 with a record of 5 seconds. This had to be an exploit, right? I mean, the next highest record was 20 seconds. How on earth did someone get to 5? It all had to do with the fourth bonus pet, Walter. Walter, like the other bonus pets, had really strange utility. It was also not super easy to obtain due to the long grind to get all 4 bonus pets. As a result, most people never even considered bringing Walter in their lineup. Walter's ability is a boxing glove coming out of his mouth upon a click on his sprite. What's important about this ability though is how it interacts with other pets. This boxing glove will cause pets to perform an action that is related to their ability upon contact. Now that you have the context, it's time to look back at SuperSlow's strategy. SuperSlow ended up running a 3-pet lineup: Blip, Shrapnel, and the elusive Walter. SuperSlow would start by checking to see if Walter had a clear shot to punch Shrapnel. If Walter was not aimed at Shrapnel, he reset. Blip's purpose was to unlock the egg, which had to be clicked on 3 times to complete the level. Blip unlocks every purchasable after 5 seconds, meaning that if you had enough money, you could buy all 3 eggshells within 1 second. This is exactly what SuperSlow did. He would reset until Walter could punch Shrapnel 2 times, and once Blip unlocked everything after the 5-second period, he would rapidly click on the eggshell button and complete the level. This run is really cool since it is completely impossible to top, and it introduced a new strategy to speedrunning the game. Little did SuperSlow know that around 1 year later, his discovery of the power of Walter would lead to a runner that nobody could have predicted. Somebody that would flip every idea of the meta on its head. That player is Meemaw Hustlin.
111. Yes. Wait. Oh my god. Woo!
What was so noticeable about Meemaw Hustlin? Well, to start, Meemaw matched SuperSlow's record of 5 seconds on level 1-1. Meemaw also has the record on level 1-2, level 1-3, level 1-4, level 1-5, Tank 2 challenge, and formerly Tank 1 challenge. He did all of this by taking Walter, arguably one of the strongest pets in the game, and combined it with a combination of pets that was very skill dependent but rewarding. Meemaw's typical lineup was Angie, Amp, Blip, and Walter, sometimes swapping in Presto or Shrapnel. The Amp and Angie strategy was a popular one, since Amp kills your fish but turns them into money, and Angie can revive these dead fish. But before Meemaw, nobody had taken Walter with these two in the hopes of getting a new record. His strategy was this: punch Amp so he's able to electrocute the fish, buy as many fish as you can, and kill them all with Amp. A guppy costs 100 currency, but when killed drop 200, giving him a surplus. Bingo. Angie will revive some of these fish, but Meemaw isn't too focused on that. He's focused on collecting the diamonds, punching Amp again, and buying as many fish as he can before repeating the process. If he saves a few fish, that only helps him. He was able to set some truly impressive records, including an 8-second run on Tank 1-2, a 23-second run on Tank 1-3, and a 1 minute 19-second run on Tank 2 Challenge. To make things even more impressive, all these records were recorded between November 11th and November 13th of 2018. He had some other miscellaneous runs on his Twitch channel and a few unlisted YouTube runs, but the fact that he grinded out these records in a few days span is pretty astounding. I reached out to Meemaw for an interview to add to this video, and he agreed. Unfortunately, it's only a text conversation, but it adds a bit of insight to some of his history with the game and his runs. I'm going to display the questions on screen, and I'm going to have my friend Guinness read out the responses. Thank you, Guinness, for helping me read these out.
When I was in middle school, my brother and I used to play a bunch of free demos on the game service called Real Arcade, and Insaniquarium was just one of them. We ended up buying the full version because we liked it so much. My friend Javarind, who is also on the Insaniquarium Discord and IL leaderboards, we were bored one night and we're talking about both picking up a new game to speedrun. We were more interested in doing routing, so we figured we would try to find a game that wasn't super popular in the hopes that there was a lot of potential to discover improvements to the existing speedrun strategies. I've always wanted to get absurdly deep into optimizing a hyper-casual game, so PopCap games seemed like a good place to start looking. We both eventually rediscovered Insaniquarium on Steam and decided to go with that. We basically spent an entire night collecting information about everything we could in the game and compiling it into a spreadsheet, and Javarin coded a program that let us change our save files to a specific level in adventure mode, so we could practice each level more efficiently. The biggest improvement far and away was the pet setup we went with, which was to use Walter, Amp, and Angie, which we dubbed Wampg, to repeatedly double our money by killing guppies over and over. The following days were just grinding attempts on this very RNG heavy strategy until we had something to submit. Definitely the time trial speedruns for Tanks 1 and 2 are my favorite, because these were the first runs that we brought to the Discord community. I remember the first record we submitted was just a screenshot of the local leaderboard on my file, and everyone was very confused how it was so much faster than the record at the time. I don't think the community was ready for Wampg, which brought these 3 to 7 minute run times down to under 2 minutes. It's cool seeing people take this even further now, with Aid McNade getting under a minute on Tank 1 Challenge. That's an insane time, and I can't imagine how many resets they went through for that. Currently, I'm pretty busy with other projects and life stuff, but I still keep up with the community. At some point, I think I may try to reclaim the Tank 1 Challenge record and improve Tank 2 Challenge, since they are essentially the exact same route. I'm also always looking for some logical reason to include Brinkley in the route for any individual level or the full run, somehow, because that's my favorite pet in the game. I love routing, and the most ambitious speedrun routing project I've successfully completed was an Oblivion 100% run that took me over a month to route, and my friends and I over 70 hours to complete in a single segment. I have a revision of the route that has been in the works for several years now, and I am hoping to officially perform the run once I get my stream setup fixed and the pandemic ends.
If you want to check out the Oblivion run, I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's truly impressive how far they optimized that game, and it just shows how dedicated Meemaw and his friends are to just figuring out games. I just want to thank Meemaw again for the interview. It's really interesting to have the insight of the player that did all of these runs. Despite the fact that Meemaw rarely plays for records anymore, he's still fairly active in the community of Insaniquarium today, acting as a sort of beacon of knowledge. Meemaw and his friend Javarind, who also has some really impressive singular level runs, have actually collected a lot of pet data to ultimately determine who is the best and the worst in the pet roster. Meemaw then took this information and converted it into an easy to digest format, that being a tier list. Because of how truly dominant his runs were, the mods of speedrun.com for Insaniquarium were considering adding a Walterless game mode, to which Meemaw agreed to the idea that it should be added. Despite the fact that I'm also a Walter abuser, I feel as if a run category without his use could lead to a lot more creativity and variety and would make speedrunning Insaniquarium more exciting in general. Meemaw Hustlin might not always remain at the top, some of his runs can definitely be beaten, but he will certainly be remembered for entirely changing how the game of Insaniquarium is played at the top level. If you made it this far and are interested, make sure to check out the Insaniquarium site. There's some really interesting scores that people have set. I could do a future episode on someone like Starro Chris, Javerand, or Aid McNade, but I think I'm going to stick to this video for now. If you have any game suggestions or player suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. Thanks for watching and subscribe for future documentary videos.